Welcome back for a new top 5 list. We are checking out, from my perspective, 5 must play games for the Nintendo GameCube. With that said, I chose a couple of games from different genres of gaming to try to give a bit of a variety, but I still consider all these top tier games to experience on the GameCube. First up at number 5. If you love RPGs, then you'll definitely like, I think, number 5. In my opinion, coming at number 5 of games I consider must-play experiences is also, in my opinion, probably the best of the Tales series. And probably second place would go to Tales of Vesperia. But for me, coming at number 5 is Tales of Symphonia. And it is an absolute great RPG experience. If you ever get a chance, if you've never actually played Tales Symphonia, I mean, you can get like remaster version, but there's something special about playing the original on a Nintendo GameCube. And the interesting thing about this game, unlike many, is the fact that you can have 2 to 4 players simultaneously, which is kind of actually cool. Only a select few RPGs offer this. One of the few other games you could find like this on the GameCube was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which is I think, a bit of a hidden gem, but a pretty hard game as well. But this is a great, just RPG experience in general. If you ever get a chance to try Tales Symphonia, check it out. It's definitely good, and the price is still pretty reasonable in this game, unlike many RPGs of this time period. Coming in at number 4 is probably not... I'm sure anybody who knows anything about the GameCube knows about this game. Coming at number 4 is Super Smash Melee, arguably the most, I would say, beloved of the of the Smash series as a whole. My personal favorite remains Super Smash Brawl, which is interesting given I'm not a big Wii person, but still, I would say, yeah, Melee is definitely in top 3 best in the series. And I think it's because there's definitely much more complexity to the game mechanics and stuff. That is where Melee excels among all the other games in the series, is the depth of the different game mechanics. If you're a more technical person with fine games or things like that, I would argue this is probably the best game then. Now, unfortunately, at the same time, this is also probably the most expensive Smash game, or maybe not anymore. OG and 64 Smash is pretty pricey nowadays. But still, if you do have the opportunity to pick up a copy of Super Smash Melee, definitely do it. It is a fun, great experience. I mean, in general, if you like Smash or you've never even tried Smash series, this is definitely one to try, especially if you like having definitely a variety and you enjoy fighting game mechanics, though most people consider this more of a party game, but I digress. With that said, coming in at number 3 is, I think, still to this day, the pinnacle of, I would say, uniqueness in the Super Mario series as a whole. For me, Sunshine still remains, I think, the most unique Super Mario experience of all time. And for me personally, Sunshine is in my top 3 favorite Mario games of all time. I mean, it's pretty much Super Mario World, Super Nintendo, Odyssey for Switch, and Sunshine for GameCube are my top 3 Marios ever. But with that said, if you ever get a chance to actually experience Super Mario Sunshine, definitely do it. This is probably the most unique, like, mainline or Super Mario title in the series as a whole. It is definitely really unique, and I love the whole water machine mechanic and stuff in Sunshine, as well as, I'll be honest, the soundtrack is somewhat I would consider criminally underrated. The soundtrack is excellent, and I love the tropical sort of style and feel to it. It is definitely gives it a much more unique feel compared to many Super Mario games out there. I know a lot will argue Galaxy, but I've played other types of platformers very similar to Galaxy. I've yet to this day find a platformer quite like Sunshine. And it will always remain that way. For me, this will always remain and have a special place for me of a Mario game in the series. Definitely, if you ever get a chance, seriously, give this game a shot. It is excellent. Coming in at number 2 is arguably the definitive horror game experience on the GameCube, and the fact this was, I believe, Nintendo's first ever officially published M-rated game. So making it very unique, and also it was very revolutionary in the areas of the sanity meter, how it would mess with your head, make it feel like the TV is changing channels, or the volume was changing and other things, or the TV seemed briefly like it's turning off on its own. It is such a cool, unique mechanic that no other really horror game since has really ever experimented. Plus, I love the whole Cthulhu universe mythos tie-in with Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, and the fact you have to be, if you want to unlock everything, you have to beat the game multiple times, which is really cool. But as a whole, I feel this game definitely does not get the love it deserves. It is arguably one of the most unique survival horror experiences you could find, and probably the most unique, I would say, of the 2000s. There really isn't another horror game out there quite like this game, and graphically, I still think it looks relatively good for how old it is. And I just like the overall feel of the game. The story is interesting, and I wish, frankly, Nintendo would remaster this on the Switch. But unfortunately, it will probably never happen, which is a shame. This game deserves more recognition than it got. Eternal Darkness really was ahead of its time. It paved the way for many future horror games. But with that said, coming in at number 1 was the first ever truly full 3D Pokemon game, or Pokemon games, I should say. Coming in at number 1 is tie between Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD. Both games are cool. I love the dark Lugia also from XD. The story is actually interesting, and both games tie in to the same world. And it was cool, honestly. The whole key thing of having dueling 2 Pokemon at a time. Plus, one of the things I absolutely love about Colosseum is the fact you're battling basically with Espeon and Umbreon. Given those are my favorite EV evolutions, yeah. Admittedly, very biased when it comes to stuff like that. But also the high difficulty curve you would have in story mode. Plus also the special elite battles you can have later on. Really helps. I feel Pokemon Colosseum and XD both really, I think as Pokemon games go, they are some of the, I feel they are the pinnacle of Pokemon games. They are top tier. There are not many Pokemon games I would put over this. I would say of actual console games, these are the best, by far. If you exclude regular handheld games. With that said, leave a comment below and give me your thoughts on the GameCube. What are, in your opinion, some must-play games? But yeah, if you ever get a chance, try these. But unfortunately, the price of these 2 Pokemon games, like many Pokemon games now, are out of control. So with that said, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe. Music in the background today was from Resident Evil Remake. Safe Room. See you again soon.